Hi, it's May. It's May, the lusty month of May, and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button, and also, please, by the end of this video, hit the like button, and also leave a comment. I was gonna say subscribe again. I love to read those comments. Please keep them PG-13, PG or G, nothing above, nothing inappropriate, please and thank you. So today is May Day. It's Beltane. Time to, for May baskets and flowers and, expressing how much we love our loved ones. And I don't know what that was. Something crashed. I will tend to that after I'm done with the video. So, anyway, I am doing a book review, a regular book review this time. I'm just reviewing one book. Last time I did my two of my picks for Half-A-Ween-a-thon, which Half-A-Ween-a-thon is over, ended yesterday, and my costume was Bunnicula, and if you want to check that out, please go to Instagram. You can see it on Instagram. Which, by the way, please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find out what I'm up to, what I'm reading, what's what. So, today I'm going to be reviewing, The Salem Branch. Not The Salem Branch, I'm sorry, that's the second book. Okay, I just must be full of energy today. Let's try that one more time. I'll be reviewing Angelique's Descent, not The Salem Branch. That's the book after this one. So, and I have both editions this time for this video. I have the original edition, and I have the re-release by Tor Books with the added final chapter. So this is a Dark Shadows review, which I did a Dark Shadows video a while back, where I kind of introduced the show, and my flower crown is falling. I may just take it off for the video. So, I did talk briefly about Angelique's Descent. Angelique's Descent, I think the idea behind it kind of came about at the time when the Dark Shadows revival series from the early 90s was starting up, and Jim Pearson, who is greatly involved in Dark Shadows, everything Dark Shadows basically, he contacted Lara Parker, who played Angelique on the original series, and asked her if did they ever know what Angelique's origin was. And so I think that was kind of an early spark for the book. HarperCollins approached Lara Parker and wanted to do the book, and they originally had said that, well, you can give us some ideas and write something up, and we'll have our team of writers, basically ghostwrite under your name and just fix it up and make it sound really good. And she thought that seemed a little ridiculous, so she read so many books and stuff to, to find a good voice, for her writing. And also, she does have a degree in creative writing, and I don't know if she got that at that time or not, for sure. She probably did. And so now she's written several books now, but she was determined that they weren't going to change a word of her writing. She did not, however, call it Angelique's Descent. I guess HarperCollins did, and that's back when this was under HarperCollins. Now it's owned by Tor, and they have this release, which, of course, the original is a mass market paperback, and the re-release is a regular paperback, and I prefer mass market because they're smaller and you can carry them in your pocket. So anyway, this book is about Angelique's origin story. It does have a frame story around it that she goes in and out of that focuses on the character of Barnabas Collins, who has recently been cured of his vampirism by Dr. Julia Hoffman. He's now engaged to her to get married, and he's living at Collinwood instead of the old house. So Barnabas decides on the eve of the night when, on the eve of the day that the old house is to be demolished and, taken away by the wrecking crew, he decides, after he wakes up from this terrible nightmare, and ends up seeing a statue of Angelique in the cemetery, which is very mysterious and is never actually explained. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat without too much spoilers. He decides to burn down the old house. And so the next day he acts like, oh, he hadn't heard anything about it, and he and Julia end up venturing over, and they discover an old diary he didn't know existed. The diary belonged to Angelique, his first love. So he reads the story of how she, about her childhood and how she became a witch, and we end up learning, all these things too. We also learn how she first met Barnabas and how she came to fall in love with him and the secrets behind it all. I really could say a little spoiler here about the character of Angelique and kind of how this makes me feel about Barnabas a little bit, but I'm not going to, because it does change my opinion of Barnabas. But anyway, so we learn about Angelique's, her, how she gained her powers and how she descended into the character that we know her as, the evil witch Angelique from Dark Shadows. So, I will say that with this edition of the book, there are some typos and some misused words, like they refer to Roger as Barnabas's uncle at one point in one sentence, and I'm like, what the heck? And so I double checked it in this edition, which I had to switch for the last chapter. I had to switch over to this one, but I did check it out, and it is corrected. Those mistakes are corrected in this edition. So I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if that was from Lara Parker or if that was the copy editors or what, So anyway, any mistakes, if you have this edition or you have access to this edition, you'll find some typos. If you have this edition, you don't have to worry about those typos. And you have the final chapter, which I kind of personally thought was kind of unnecessary. It's more about Barnabas. We get to hear his feelings, but I think some of the stuff where Lara Parker went back and she reminds us of his early days as being a vampire, that I think she melds some of the things together into one night as opposed to how they happen in the show over a course of several nights. And so she blends it and condenses it down somehow, and it just doesn't feel right. And it feels rather rushed in some ways. I felt personally that the last chapter was unnecessary. It did clarify one little thing at the end of the book that this does not, about this character who pops in. This brand new character who shows up at the end of the book. This does clarify her a little bit. But if you read the next book, and The Salem Branch, which I actually read before this one, you already know about that character plays a much bigger role in that book. And so... But all in all, I enjoyed this book. It's very good. It does flip back and forth. It is more erotic, especially the original says A Tale of Erotic Love and Dark Obsession. It is very much that. But we get to hear all kinds of secrets about Angelique and stuff. And the thing with Lara Parker is she doesn't keep to canon very well. I think she was better on canon with this book than she is with, like, the Salem Branch, because the canon with that's all messed up. And then her further books, the canon is different too. The backstory, though, for Angelique is mostly canon now with Dark Shadows, because when Big Finish Productions, which is still doing Dark Shadows stuff now, when they did Angelique's Descent after the first season of the full cast audio dramas, they did Angelique's Descent as a two-parter, and it cut out all of the present day stuff, so you only hear Angelique's story, and it does edit out a little bit of that stuff, some of her spells and some of her magic learning, and an event concerning a young officer named Barnabas Collins and some pirates, which is mentioned in this, is talked about in this book. I'm not going to say much on that because I thought that was kind of cool. It's not on the audio, but most of her backstory is canon. And it follows it before Victoria Winters went back in time to 1795. So, but all in all, I think if you like the original series, I think you'll enjoy these books a lot. This book, sorry. Well, there's the other ones too, because she has 4 books. She has Angelique's Descent, The Salem Branch, Wolf Moon Rising, and Heiress of Collinwood. So, which I have read the first two. I started Wolf Moon Rising, never finished it, and this was when it was still new. And I did get Heirs of Collinwood when it came out, but I haven't, of course, read that one yet either. So, but all in all, Lara Parker's a great writer. It's just that she doesn't keep to canon. She has her own canon, basically. She creates in these books. And these books are not... They do continue the stories of Collinwood and all the characters, but they are not the official canon. The official canon is Big Finish Productions, because there's all kinds of continuations. There's these continuations, which were the first continuations of the original series. There was a comic book series done by Dynamite Comics that continued it in their own way. And there's the audio drama from like 2003 called Return to Collinwood, and that continues the storyline. It jumps ahead though several years. And then there's the Big Finish Productions audios, which are the official continuation. And supposedly, though there hasn't been any further news on it, supposedly CW is planning to do a Dark Shadows continuation series. So there'll be another continuation, except for it would be in present day, I think, and not in the past. Not in the 1980s like the audio dramas take place in. So, I don't know. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for this review. I didn't want to tell too much about this, but, we do learn all kinds of interesting things about Angelique in this book, and it's very good. So, it's kind of long, but it's still really good. So, anyway, check out Angelique's Descent by Lara Parker. It's a Dark Shadows novel. It was the first Dark Shadows novel since the 1960s and 70s books. So, and there was another one published by HarperCollins, but it was not by Lara Parker. It was by two other authors, and it took place during the run of the show. But it's got its canon all mixed up and messed up too. So you can't really rely on any of these books for canon of the original show. It's just kind of like, almost like, you know, fun companion pieces. Or even you could consider them as slightly alternate reality of the original series, like a parallel time in a way. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You can read Angelique's Descent. I think you can read it on Kindle. You can order the book, I'm sure. There may even be bookstores that still sell it. I think one time I saw it in Books A Million, so you could check it out there whenever, you know, whenever bookstores and stuff open. You can order it online. I'm pretty sure there's a Kindle edition of it. And there is an Audible. You can listen to it on Audible. They have it. And it's read by Lara Parker, just as the Salem Branch is, and Wolf Moon Rising, but not Heirs of Collinwood. So, that's pretty much it. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Please check out my author page on Amazon, and you can follow me on, you can find me and follow me on, Wattpad, and you can read some of my writings, including the first two chapters of my book, The Curse of Rich House, which is available on Amazon, and you can get it in paperback and Kindle. The Kindle is only $2.99. The paperback is a little bit more. So please check that out, and if you'd like to order it, please do. And please also visit the official Facebook page of my book, The Curse of Rich House. So, without any more further ado, have a happy May Day, a happy Beltane blessings to you, and, you know, stay safe out there. Bye-bye.